2, 1.
Hello and welcome to TrojanVision's The Week That Was, covering the news and events for the week ending Friday, October 23rd, 2020. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With COVID-19 a major factor in the lives of everyday Americans, do you ever wonder where all the plastic waste from personal protective equipment such as masks, hand sanitizer bottles, and other items go? Well, Troy's Center for Material and Manufacturing has an earth-friendly answer. Seth Feiner has the details.
The National Institute of Standards and Technology has just awarded Troy a $3.5 million grant to tackle the issue of researching into recycling of PPE. Troy's Center for Material and Manufacturing Sciences aims to help research and reuse materials from the mass amounts of plastic PPE medical professionals use. Dr. Govind Menon, the director of Troy School of Science and Technology, spoke about the details and focus of the research.
There's tons of medical waste piling up now, and nobody wants to touch it. The problem is not just about the science of recycling, but also decontamination. There are people working on medical recycling, but not at a scale that we would like. So we would provide the research academic end of this so that it can be scalable and done to an extent where we can reduce medical waste.
Menon says that due to profit margins in the recycling industry, researching new techniques isn't viable for most companies. So that is where Troy steps in. Profit
is generally pennies to a pound. And so private recyclers cannot invest in expensive technology, high dollar technology, if you will, and conduct research at the same time be viable. So we're picking up the academic end of it, and hopefully we can provide a technique and methodology where it can be scaled so that industries can use it at a much larger scale.
The School of Science and Technology has been given a total of almost $9 million for various research projects. And with just using a portion of that money, Dr. Menon says PPE research is just the beginning.
Tuesday night, TrojanVision made a little history here at TrojanVision when we introduced a new piece of technology that will allow us to expand our coverage possibilities with the ability to do live remotes out in the field during our newscasts. Sam Granville gives us a look at what this new equipment will mean to our program.
Yes, Stuart. So we're actually using a new piece of equipment called LiveView.
In a year of many firsts and quite a bit of changes at Troy University, TrojanVision has been around to cover it all. On Tuesday evening, TrojanVision made history of its own with the program's first ever live shot incorporated into its evening newscast, all thanks to a new technology in the program called LiveView.
So what LiveView is it's kind of cool. It's technology that commercial stations have been using for the past few years, and it's a device that uses cellular technology to transmit video back to the station. We did a live shot at the Elm Street Gym, which is on the outskirts of campus, something that we could have never done before having this piece of equipment. So this piece of equipment is going to open the possibilities for us to do something that is a common part of commercial broadcasts everywhere. And that is a live shot.
TrojanVision has given broadcast journalism students at Troy, like me, a major step ahead by learning through hands-on experience with cameras and reporting, as well as the opportunity to participate in the 15 live broadcasts here each week. And Taylor says this new piece of technology will add to the job marketability for TrojanVision graduates.
What LiveView is going to do is add one more feather in the cap of a student when they're trying to apply for jobs when they graduate, because this is a piece of equipment they're going to use in the professional world. It's going to improve their marketability. We give them experience live on the desk, out in the field, and we've been doing that for years, but this one piece of equipment is something they are going to experience and have to use in the professional world and the commercial world. So having access to it in college is going to be amazing to improving their overall education in broadcasting.
Live shots from reporters will soon become a routine part of TrojanVision's newscast, and Taylor says he expects to use LiveView weekly. Sam Granville, Troy, TrojanVision News.
Ever since the start of the fall semester, Troy University has had a plan in place to help prevent the spread of the coronavirus. That includes a procedure of voluntary random testing. Michaela Smith shows us how it works.
Troy University is participating in the Guide Safe program to monitor the spread of COVID-19. The program is 3 parts that includes return testing, which took place at the start of the semester, the Health Check app, and lastly, it's sentinel testing.
The idea behind sentinel testing is that they're trying to determine if there are individuals on campus who are asymptomatic but who are infected. So this gives us a chance to sample a population on campus and determine if in fact they're walking around infected but not showing the symptoms. This then allows us to pull those individuals out, put them into an isolated setting, and get them out of what in essence is the rest of the community environment.
Testing takes place on Thursdays at the Elm Street Rec Center gym. Prior to testing, between 3 to 5% of the university's community is invited to take the test. Although you may receive the invitation, it is not mandatory to take the test, but the university does encourage you to do so.
So it's not just students who are being tested. We have faculty and staff who are also participating in the test. So it gives us a chance to see who the individuals are, where they're located by building, what associations they have with clubs or with organizations, what dorm they're living in. That then gives us a chance to look at that data and determine if there are any trending patterns occurring. Perhaps we may or may not have a problem in a specific dorm, or there may be an organization on campus that is showing a higher rate of infection than others. It also gives us a good idea of what the status of the campus looks like, whether we have hot spots or whether we're consistently keeping the case count down.
One Troy University employee explains his experience with being selected for the random testing.
I've never had a COVID test before, and I've heard all these stories about them touching like the back of your nasal cavity, and it was a very uncomfortable experience. But for this process, it was a lot easier and a lot quicker. I received an email, I printed it out, I went to the location and the time that was set up, and they took the paperwork, scanned it, and then they gave me a small Q-tip that I could do myself, and it helped me get to my own comfort level. And so I followed the instructions and took the test, put it in the tube, and sent it off.
Troy University School of Nursing offers classes on all of its Alabama campuses. However, the Dothan campus has seen some changes this semester that includes the addition of a new piece of equipment designed to enhance the learning experience. Chen Kilter Osborne has more from our Dothan campus.
Troy University's Dothan campus just received a new pediatric simulator for its nursing students.
This addition of this sim actually really helps because I know, like Dr. Chance said, it was really hard sometimes to drive all the way to Troy. And so here now we have the equipment, and I think it'll make us a little more comfortable too with the scenarios.
The simulator is very lifelike and gives the students an opportunity to practice on something new.
The adult simulator and the pediatric simulator are different because the pediatric simulator allows us to practice the nuances that go along with pediatric patients instead of just having an adult patient to pretend on.
Dothan's BSN nursing program is steadily growing as the time passes.
A lot of people didn't know that the Dothan campus had the BSN program. So I feel like now that the word's gotten out, a lot more people realize that they don't have to drive as far to go and pursue their dreams of becoming a nurse.
With the Dothan's BSN nursing program gaining more interest from the student body, they were recently moved into a more spacious building, which is Ralph Adams Hall.
The most positive change that I've seen is just having our own building. So, I mean, even as the program grows, we might be able to take over the whole building at some point.
Webb says he hopes the program continues to add more resources so the students can practice their theoretical knowledge. In Dothan, Shankertra Osborne, Troy, TrojanVision News.
One change to this year's election due to the coronavirus could be some college-age students receiving some temporary employment on Election Day. Stuart Bradley has more from our Montgomery News Bureau.
On September 30th, Alabama State Governor Kay Ivey issued a state of emergency in regards to Election Day. On top of absentee ballots, which are pouring in at a record pace, being processed beginning at 7 a.m., now any student interning as a poll worker on Election Day will now receive financial compensation for their work.
Because of the coronavirus stimulus package that we were able to receive that helped us with elections, we are able to provide them with remuneration for their work. So we're excited about that, and they can do everything that a seasoned poll worker can do except handle a ballot and determine the eligibility of a voter.
Students will be compensated $50 for their work on November 3rd. They will be assigned one of several necessary jobs to make sure that Election Day can go as smoothly as possible.
Working the electronic poll books is very important. All of our student poll worker interns are able to do that. Also, making sure that people know where to go and how to navigate the lines when they show up. Ensuring that their IDs are what they need to be. Ensuring that people know where the restrooms are if they need to get out of line. There's a lot of different things that need to be done throughout the day, and our student poll worker interns are just the ones to do it.
Applications are still open at sos.alabama.org/student poll worker internship. According to Merrill, students must be at least 18 years old and a registered voter in the state of Alabama to be eligible. All applications are subject to approval via the applicant's county probate judge. Reporting from Montgomery, Stuart Bradley, Troy, TrojanVision News.
COVID-19 has caused some student groups to come up with some off-the-wall ways to raise money for their causes this semester. Well, the Student Government Association came up with an on-the-wall way to raise money for Hurricane Sally victims because they, well, literally stuck someone on a wall. Ava Jackson shows us how.
Today, we're taping me to the wall.
Friday's lunch hour offered an additional menu item for students to purchase in the food court: duct tape. As a fundraiser for victims of Hurricane Sally, the Student Government Association sold strips of duct tape so students could tape SGA President Nicole J. John to a wall in the food court. This is part of an ongoing fundraising effort by the SGA.
The cause is important because we have a lot of students here at Troy that live in the area that was affected, and it's also part of our state, and also I just love my country, so I just want to help rebuild any way we can from this natural disaster.
Kryson says the SGA wanted to step up their efforts to reach their goal of $3,500 and thought taping J. John to the wall would be a fun way to give them a boost.
So we've been selling stickers at TC tables for the past couple weeks, and we wanted to do a big fundraiser event that could really help us raise our goal of $3,500. And so I asked the Senate one night to come up with ideas, and this came as one of the ideas, and we liked it best, to tape the SGA president to the wall.
And how did J. John feel about the possibility of being stuck to a wall?
I'm really excited. I can only give one thumbs up because my other hand is taped currently, but I'm so excited for this.
Once the goal is met, J. John explains how they plan to distribute what they raise to the victims.
What we're going to do is we're going to gather all the money together, and we're going to send it in either forms of gift cards for grocery stores or places to eat, and just reach out to local businesses and churches down there that can help distribute it to the people in need. Just to make this time a little bit easier on them while they're going through all the challenges faced by Hurricane Sally.
Ava Jackson, Troy, TrojanVision News.
We'll take a short break, but when we return, we'll see the variety of activities leading up to Troy's homecoming game. Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
This weekend is Troy University's homecoming game against Georgia State, and while those two teams will battle it out on Saturday, Troy student groups competed in a variety of competitions and activities throughout the week that started on Sunday night right in the heart of campus. Kenrietta Stinson has the story.
On Sunday afternoon, Troy University kicked off a week of homecoming activities for students with a pair of events on the John Lewis Quad. The events were a way to get students excited about Saturday's homecoming football matchup.
We have Chalk the Quad, we have Ox Wars, and we have, together it's just a homecoming kickoff, cookout type thing. We had food out here today. We had Ox Wars going on with UAC. We had chalk in the quad, so people would come out here and get some chalk and just chalk the sidewalks of the quad just to hang out and have fun.
In addition to students using their art skills to create chalk drawings on the sidewalks of the quad, students shared their musical talents through the Ox Wars competition to see who had the best playlist on their phone.
DJ Reg is out here helping us out with Ox Wars tonight. He's really just helping us keep the spirit up and getting people pumped up for homecoming. People are bringing up songs from their own playlist and battling it out, and we're voting for the top one.
Sunday was just the first event in a packed week of homecoming activities leading up to Saturday's football matchup against Georgia State. There's at least one major activity every day leading up to the weekend.
Tuesday and Wednesday we'll have a blood drive. And then on Wednesday night, we'll have a lip sync battle that's going on in Claudia Crosby. That's hosted by 101 Elite Men and Sparkle, so that's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be at 7 in Claudia Crosby. Thursday, we have a kickball tournament going on all day, and then Friday, we have a field day going on down at the practice fields at 7 o'clock.
On Tuesday night, Homecoming Week had an event designed for students to show off their musical side without having to sing a note. Jessica Phillips shows us how.
Troy University's Sparkle Mentoring Club and the 101 Elite Men put students to the test Tuesday night in Crosby Theater with a lip sync battle.
Well, tonight's event was sponsored by Elite Men, 101, and Sparkle Mentoring Club. It was a lip sync battle. And so basically what the event entails is a lot of organizations came out and they had an opportunity to lip sing and compete against each other, and they had an opportunity to win first, second, and third place tonight.
FIMU President Anna Bell Pepper stole the show and won first place in the competition with her impressive performance to what they like to call a classic.
My favorite part about the event so far tonight was just seeing everybody have a good time. Even in the midst of COVID-19, how we can social distance and still have a good time with each other, that really made me happy and smile on tonight.
Performers even got the crowd involved for some homecoming week fun, and students have more ways to participate this week, like Wednesday on the quad.
Tomorrow we do have skit night, and a lot of organizations will be back out here on John Lewis Quad tomorrow performing skits. So we had lip sync tonight, and tomorrow is going to be more acting out. So I'm super excited, and we have a lot of stuff planned out. So I hope everybody comes out, social distance, wear your mask. We're having a good time, Homecoming 2020.
Jessica Phillips, Troy, TrojanVision News.
There was one homecoming competition that had the potential of saving a life, the Homecoming Week Blood Drive. Brady Talbert has the details.
At the Elm Street Gym, blood donors are greeted with a thermometer as the American Red Cross stocks up on blood during the coronavirus pandemic.
So right now, especially in a time like this, there's just a big shortage for blood. American Red Cross has made that very clear, and this is just a great way that we can give back.
After signing in, donors are social distanced to comply with CDC guidelines. The American Red Cross says despite the global pandemic, blood is needed now.
You still have patients who need blood, cancer patients, trauma patients, transplant patients, chemotherapy patients, sickle cell patients. That need for blood is constant, and it's still there whether there's a pandemic going on or not.
The Red Cross says it's taking strides to make donors feel safe, like taking extra steps to sterilize donation stations. In addition to saving lives, guests will be told whether or not they have the COVID-19 antibodies.
These go towards points for homecoming, but also they're testing for COVID antibodies, which is really cool. But basically just a 2-day blood drive, and you just come and give blood.
Those wanting to donate can register at redcrossblood.org for a time slot. Walk-ins are also welcome and masks are required.
And on Wednesday night, students hit the John Lewis Quad to show off their acting talents. Claudia Peppenhorst has the story.
Yes, it is, and the week continues on with more competitions, cheers, and fun for Troy University students. Wednesday night, the Skit Night competition took place on the John Lewis Quad for organizations to compete in for their overall score during homecoming week.
So tonight we have our skit competition. This is the first year we've brought it back. It used to be a very long tradition for homecoming week. Basically each participating organization gets to put on a skit. The theme this year is where do you see Troy in 10 years? And so I tell you, we're really looking forward to seeing all the creativity of of our many organizations on campus.
A big reason why the homecoming committee decided to put on Skit Night once again was to not only show off organizations' talents, but their acting skills as well.
I would say that we thought that, you know, talent could also be shown by people doing acting parts and stuff like that. I mean, theater, there was a lot of, you know, they can apply music, they can have props and stuff like that.
I also spoke to a competitor who was portraying a cameraman to see if they were nervous, excited, scared, or all of the above.
Oh, I'm very excited, but I am very nervous about this because we haven't done this since the year before my freshman year. So other than the seniors, everyone else that's participating has not done this yet. And it's going to be interesting. I'm excited though.
Claudia Peppenhorst, Troy, TrojanVision News.
One homecoming event that will have a lasting impact on the lives of Troy students happened Wednesday, as students took some time out of their schedule to be included in next year's yearbook. Zeta Ingram has the story.
On Wednesday in Trojan Center, Troy University students were lined up for their time to shine, simply by being featured in this year's edition of the Palladium.
The Palladium is our yearbook here at Troy. It's the longest running publication here. We've been on campus since 1912. We're a 400+ page full color publication. We come out every year. We start making the book in the fall of each year, and then we finish it over the summer, including all of the sports events and everything that happens through graduation, and then it releases the next fall.
Students were given the option to take their yearbook pictures with or without their mask. However, the picture-taking procedure was slightly different this year.
Instead of having everyone fill out and touch the same computer to put in their information, we have QR codes you can scan, so it's all contact-free, and then we're just trying to enforce the 6 feet and make sure the flow of people in and out is as safe as it can be.
Students are allowed to choose their pose of choice, as well as feature any guest within their photo, making the Palladium pictures a perfect opportunity to express their personality and make memories for the years to come.
One reason why the students should come get their pictures taken is because it's free, and then second of all, it's only $5 to purchase a yearbook, and it's just a good memory to have of your college career.
Spivey added that if students did not take a picture on Wednesday, there will be a second Palladium Picture Day during the spring semester on the week of Valentine's Day. While other students have been taking their Palladium pictures, I cannot pass up on the opportunity of myself being featured in the 2020-2021 Troy University Yearbook. Troy, TrojanVision News.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we come back, we'll learn about an event with Troy University's Pied Pipers Theater Troupe. That's coming up right after this, so stay tuned.
For over 70 years, Smokey Bear has asked you to use fire responsibly.
Fire is due to an unattended campfire. Go time.
Here's how you can stay on the front lines of preventing wildfires. Always watch your campfire before leaving. Drown it, stir it, drown it again, and feel that the fire is out cold.
Oh, bullseye!
And you won't need a visit from these guys.
Copy that.
You can be Smokey's wingman when enjoying nature and prevent wildfires. Visit SmokeyBear.com for more fire prevention tips.
Troy University is celebrating 50 years of the Pied Pipers Theater Troupe. We'll learn more about the group in this week's Trojan Talk. Hello and welcome to Trojan Talk. I'm your host, Aaron Taylor. With me today is Jenny Meadows, here to talk about the Pied Pipers here at Troy University. Thank you for joining me here today.
Thank you for having me.
And the Pied Pipers, most people are associated the Pied Piper with the old fairy tale, but this is a group that now, surprisingly, I'm going to say this, 50 years on campus, and you're celebrating 50 years of this program here in the theater department at Troy University. But for the folks at home who aren't familiar, who think, Pied Pipers, what is this? Tell us what the Pied Pipers are and what it's all about and why it's sustained for 50 years here at the university.
Well, people who have seen the Pied Pipers remember the experience. And I'm talking about people who are in their 30s and 40s say, I remember when the Pied Pipers came to my school, because the performances targeted toward children are just phenomenal, because we cater to children. We are performing for them. We're giving the children the chance to really use their imaginations, and it's like reading the best storybook. It's like a storybook comes to life, and the characters are so vivid and the movements are just right. It's highly stylized, and children love it. And schools want us to come back year after year because, honestly, they're just that good.
That good. And this is an acting troupe for children's theater that is made up of Troy University students that, as we said, we're celebrating the 50th year, started way back by Dr. David Dye, who has taught many of us. He taught me when I was in school. And I know he had a big part of the program in theater, but inspiring this and bringing this all about and having these students, these Troy University theater students, be a part of this. As someone who was a former student and now works with students, what does that mean to have that kind of outlet for the students and for community outreach?
Well, in colleges, there really aren't a lot of opportunities for students to rehearse performing for children or to be up in front of a younger audience, because that is a genre that's very specific and you have to be trained. Otherwise, those subtle nuanced choices that actors make don't really come through for children. And for children, you have to be so specific, and because they are tough audiences. They're a tough sell. They're like, I don't believe you. You have to, from the time you walk onto stage, like from your head to your toes, you have to just radiate energy, because when they're on the playground playing pretend, they do the same thing. And as a performer for children, you have to become like them. You have to be childlike and a little bit innocent, and you have to be willing to play and have fun and just breathe the story. It's a lot of fun.
And imagination is a big deal. You talk about the way they play on the playground, but one of the things about the Pied Pipers when they perform, unlike normal theatrical performances, it's stripped down.
Right.
Imagination is pretty much one of the big elements of the stage.
I think that's why it's so memorable, because a lot of times we go to the theater and we're expecting spectacle and lights, but with the Pied Pipers, it's just all about the story. The performers don't use props, they pantomime everything, and we don't have sets. There are very colorful costumes, but that's it. So our actors have to work really hard, but they do a great job.
And you're celebrating by putting on a show this weekend, an opportunity for, now normally you go to schools, but this is a time you're inviting people to come see you. And talk about what y'all are doing this weekend, the performance you're putting on.
Well, the shows start at 10 o'clock. We'll have stories every 30 minutes. And in between the stories, we have stations set up for the children. So they're going to watch a story and then go have some fun and then come back and watch another story. And the different stations, of course, we're going to practice social distancing, and we'll have Germ-X and all of those things. But we have several stations, including the Wiggle and Move station, where children will work with our theater education students, and they'll play games such as freeze dance and energy ball. And then we also have the arts and crafts station where they'll make some fun fall themed crafts like candy corn necklaces and fun leaf wreaths that they can take home and hang on their doors. And then we have the cookie walk. You've heard of the cake walk, right? Like they have at fall festivals.
Yes, so you're gonna do cookies instead of cakes?
Cookies, great American cookies. We're not talking Chips Ahoy, we're talking about
the good stuff.
Legit cookies, yes. And there will be cotton candy.
All right.
And all of this is free.
For the children to come and check this out. And this will be in Janice Hawkins Cultural Arts Park. The performance will be on the amphitheater stage there, right?
Yes.
And then everything else will kind of be in the park area from there. And you said it's open to the public. Any children want to come check it out, they can come see it.
Children and adults. This is fun for kids of all ages, like 0 to 110.
All right, well, if someone 110 wants to come and check out the show, 10 to 12, Saturday, Janice Hawkins Park. I want to thank you for joining me here today, Jenny, and good luck. And it sounds like it's going to be a fun time. Thanks for joining us. And thank you for joining us on today's edition of Trojan Talk. And that's the week that was. To find out what's happening on a daily basis, you can tune into Troy TrojanVision News at 5, 6:30, and 10:30 Monday through Friday, or follow us on Twitter at Troy TV News. Also, feel free to like our Troy TrojanVision News fan page on Facebook to see online content from Troy TrojanVision News. Until next time, have a good week.